Loud, loud.
Good morning, everyone. Now we are here to discuss about the present topic, whether the bifurcation of Telangana and Andhra Pradesh made their development paralysed or not. So, first of all, consider the bifurcation. It's nothing but division of any state or any region into two parts based upon the linguistic and religious differences. So, depending upon that, the bifurcation will take place depending upon and also upon the struggle of the people. So, in a country like India, because of number of religions, number of linguistic differences, it's sure and it's the reasonable thing to have bifurcation in states.
But what's the reason that we actually this bifurcation has actually happened? The Telangana people was actually protesting for the advantages of themselves. Means because as we know that the highest revenue from Andhra Pradesh is coming from Hyderabad, but it's getting distributed to all the people of Andhra Pradesh. What they actually want was only concentrating the total money to only Telangana people, so that they could get more amount of share, more amount of development. As Hyderabad, the revenue coming from Hyderabad is almost more than 60% of what the revenue is actually coming from the other places. They actually wanted the whole Telangana money to be invested, the whole Hyderabad money to be invested only in Telangana, so that only they people can be beneficial to this revenue. So, but what has happened is post bifurcation, Mr. KCR actually kept everything in a pause, so that he could just know whether who are actually the original residents of Telangana before 1956. And 1956 was actually a very long back. Even KCR was not born in Telangana; he was born in Srikakulam or Vijayanagaram, I think.
I'll actually come into this, whether the development is taking place or not. We have this divide and rule policy, which the Britishers had employed in India. It's the same thing being employed even here.
Yes.
The divide and rule policy is always a good thing, because a person taking care of some crores of people is, many persons taking care of crores of people is much better than a single person taking care of that much of people. Here what's happening is actually, we may take time to develop. It may be around 5 years or 10 years, but ultimately what happens is, we are getting few communities. Consider Visakhapatnam. They are planning to make it a tourist hub and a film hub. Consider Vijayawada. They are making it an industrial hub. So we have individual developments taking place. What actually happened in Hyderabad? The whole development was centralized to Hyderabad. So now with the division taking place, we are getting the areas which are never concentrated before to be progressed. We are getting the technical development everywhere. We have the concepts of super cities and mega cities. So
That's really thing is, even though the bifurcation is done, the most important thing is the bifurcation should be done in a way that both the parts which are bifurcated should be benefited by that. Means we have to plan before that whether where will be the capital for the both cities, for the both regions, and even where will be the financial capital and where will be the development organizations. So by distributing all those equally, then we have to proceed the bifurcation.
No,
But
yeah, actually, what happened? What you have to do is plan before you act.
Yes.
What they have done, they have just bifurcated and now they are planning.
Yes.
So what has happened?
So,
the advancement in both areas have just in stop.
but that's not the case. We have allotted
Yeah.
10 years for the Hyderabad to be a common capital, because so the administration for these 10 years is the same as usual.
Okay, what about
Yeah.
the people who are employed in Hyderabad? They are not even able to attend to the jobs regularly. They are being driven to Andhra Pradesh now.
See,
Whatever
even Hyderabad was actually told to be the 10 years the capital of both Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. We can see that in Vijayawada, all the main offices are actually being in Vijayawada. They are not accepting or they're not employing the employers or somebody in Hyderabad. They're not, see, even the swearing of Chandrababu Naidu was not there in Hyderabad, it was in Vijayawada. And even the Independence Day celebrations was in Kannur, not in Hyderabad. So we are actually not accepting it as a
I think
real capital.
I think the inception of Chandrababu Naidu sir is even Hyderabad is the capital for both the regions for 10 years. The thing is, we Andhra people didn't have any capital yet. So, in a view of focusing the main city to develop as a capital, he took some city like some Kannur to initiate his development on that as a capital by introducing it as the main center of Andhra.
Yes,
See,
that
that's
is
why
That is not a decided. Whatever may be the reason, once the state has been bifurcated. So coming to the mineral resources and that all, the state is parallelized. There is no equally divided between Andhra and
But
Telangana.
consider this, you have the feeling of belongingness to a certain city. When you are in your house and a foreigner comes to your place and he tries to occupy whatever you have, whatever resources you have, how would you feel? You definitely send him out. That's what happened in our freedom struggle too. The Britishers came here, with their power they could rule us. What we did? We struggled, we sent them out. That's what they are doing actually. They may be capable of that or not, but
actually
first of all, they
Yes,
need
we are
secure their
calling
resources.
Hyderabad as a resource of so many wells, but it is developed by Andhra.
See,
That's what they're doing, right? They're allotted 10 years for the development of Andhra Pradesh, so that it again comes back to the original state and it can
See,
go on.
But
30
10
years for
years,
the
don't you think that's
yeah.
a long time?
It
Because
took
it
30 years for the
can have a
development
huge
of
impact on the society.
see,
But the development is taking place,
Yes,
right?
that's what they have to plan before act.
See, it took
The
30 years
advancement is really parallelized now. What are the things? Now, if you consider Hyderabad, now Microsoft, Google, every headquarters are planning to install their units there, headquarters.
You need to consider one thing.
See, it took 30 years for the development of headquarters, right?
Yes.
Back it is how
You need to consider one thing, the technology has developed. You need to consider one thing, like whenever you start a thing, you should not expect the result as soon as it happens. See, consider a child, he won't run as soon as he's born, right? It takes time. You need to wait for the time. The result is, see the result, not the process. The end result is much more important than the process.
Even when Mr. B.R. Ambedkar was there, he actually said that for the centralization of the place of Hyderabad, for India, Hyderabad can be the second capital at that time, and it was around 60 years back. It's not 20 or 10 years back, right? So to have a capital like Hyderabad, we can only expect around 80%, not totally, because we don't have that much of logistics or the services that Hyderabad can actually provide because of its centralization.
See, now coming to
See,
the rest, hospitality and industries and social health, they are not having anything. It's not
But
equal
why don't you
everywhere.
consider the main basic point that even Hyderabad was a basic city with no facilities when it was
Yeah,
for some 100 years back.
30 years to develop. Now we are having only 10 years.
See,
So,
that's what happened. The 30 years took place because it was centralized only to Hyderabad. What's happening now? We have Vizag developing, Tirupati developing, Vijayawada developing. The development is being
Yes, for a
shared.
single city to develop, it took around 30 years. Now,
Yeah,
what do you think
sorry.
will happen for multiple cities? Like, if you want to develop 5 cities,
See,
how
there
much time?
are being committees allotted for each sector, each region separately. Now people taking care of all this has grown up.
See, come out of all
Technology
these
has grown up.
cases, come out of all this Hyderabad case, take the case of Polavaram project. Chandrababu Naidu tried to initiate it, but what happened? They said that some villages will be submerged, and they actually come into Telangana, depending upon the boundary lines or something. And there was actually an issue, and even now Mr. Keshe doesn't accept it, even though Modi, the central government has actually brought those villages into Andhra Pradesh. The KCR government doesn't accept it because they don't want to lose some villages because of this Polavaram project, which is actually benefiting us, mostly us, not Telangana. So see, Polavaram project is so important. It is since many years. It is for the welfare of people. Here we are actually losing our ethics because how can just Mr. KCR, where it is actually written in the constitution that a citizen of India can live anywhere in the world, and he just drags off people from Hyderabad or Telangana. What did you actually come across this controversial statement that he gave just 3 days back? He said that I could actually become an Hitler if I actually remove all these people from Telangana. What does he think?
We have to come out of this topic. Actually, we are debating. We are discussing about whether we are in a
Development is taking place or not.
thing is,
it's not development, it's seeing about the parallels.
if we consider if you consider mere history or even future, we can't set an example considering any other. We are having a new situation here, so we can't we can't make this as a taking other as an example to make this situation in the right way. The thing is, we have to work upon the here situation, this situation, and we have to modify. It means we have to understand that main failure in that is the revenue distribution.
Okay, what I wish to say is,
for Telangana region, for an annum, 10,000 crores have been excess of money. For Andhra Pradesh, we will be lack of money by 15,000 crores.
Okay, till now we are considering only one side of the coin. Coming to the other side of the coin, we are not having mineral resources and so on. But Telangana is affecting from the security, like police power and so. So coming to considering all the cases, it's completely unbalanced.
I think security concerns are not there because every state will have their own power. Even if they are winning with the power, we can consider power. We can take power from the central power also.
Yes, but what Sunil says is correct. It may take divide and rule policy is a very good one. For 10 people, you will have one leader compared to 100 people, one leader. But what he was trying to say is that for it may take an advancement of 10 years. But what about the people? What does the end effects that may happen in these 10 years?
see, in these 10 years, they are not like they are being continuing with the same jobs, right? They are statements, but I think the central government will take preventive measures to avoid that happening. They'll take some measures so that the people who got relocated from their job get an equivalent job somewhere else in Andhra Pradesh.
Yes,
That development will take place definitely.
Even central
It may
government
be-
is also
it
providing
may-
some incentives to.
Yeah, it may not be within 1 year, but it may take time. But the development is happening, right? We get super cities and the state itself is developing. See, consider when we have Andhra Pradesh as a single state. Consider the regions in Telangana, how pathetic they are. They didn't even have development in any aspects. They are technically considered as the backward people of the whole state.
But
But
they
now
had-
what's happening? They are getting jobs. They are trying to earn money. They are trying to settle their lives. So that's a sign
But they
of
have the revenue,
development, right?
But they have the revenue source of Hyderabad, so they can use of it. They can make use of it.
That's what I'm trying to say. We have
See, for
cities being developed as Hyderabad and they act as the revenue providers for the entire state of new Andhra
See,
Pradesh.
there is a chance of development of Andhra Pradesh, like giving the tax-free exemption for industrial purposes, like that. So we can develop in these 10 years.
And actually,
Revenue is not the
Microsoft.
only case you have to consider. You need to have the literacy rate. What about Telangana? What is the literacy rate? It's very poor and compared to the Andhra people. Now, how do you think they are going to come forward and have to, if they have to become entrepreneurs, they have to have a basic knowledge of it. So, how do you think they are going to get educated themselves in around 5 years? The literacy rate cannot be increased to that much.
I think we'll deviate the topic, but
is
it's not
directly
about.
no, literacy rate is directly affecting this advancement.
See, that's not
Not the literacy rate, education.
So let us conclude.
Literacy rate depends upon the government, what the plans they are having, what the government is really executing the plans and all. So, irrespective of the bifurcation, we can't consider, means even though it is before bifurcation or after bifurcation, it depends upon the government, the central government too, how the education process are going on.
So
we can't say.
what I wish to say is, well, actually considering all the points of all the valuable points which you gave, development is happening, but only in certain aspects. The certain aspects are being left behind. So we need to make sure that the central government and the state governments take correct measures so that development takes place in every aspect and all-round development of the state takes place.